I'm Scott at Wood Lake Nature Center, and today we're talking about the power of flight. Now, how many of you like to fly? Flight is awesome, isn't it? When you see the birds flying and airplanes and helicopters, flight is really cool. Well, there's 4 different kinds of flight: lighter than air, gliders, powered flight, and rockets. Today I'm going to touch just a little bit on all of those. Now, the first one, lighter than air. Things that are lighter than air, which could be like a hot air balloon. If you heat up air inside of a balloon, it becomes less dense than the surrounding air, and then it floats up, gets lift up into the air. These balloons are not full of hot air. They're full of a special gas called helium. And helium is lighter than air, than the surrounding air. So when I let go of these, they float up. So a dirigible or the Goodyear blimp, they're full of helium gas. So that's lighter than air. Then there's gliders. Now gliders all work, and all the rest of types of flight except for rockets work on the principle of air pressure. There has to be air pressure. When you move your arms, you can feel air pressure, right? And so even nature takes advantage of air pressure. These little seeds actually have a wing attached, and you've all seen this from a maple tree or a box elder tree, which is in the maple family. These little seeds have a wing attached that when they go in the air, the pressure makes them spin like a helicopter. Not so good when they're green, better when they're brown. So you've all made a paper airplane. And when you fold a paper airplane, you've got the wings that actually have an angle of attack. And so the angle of attack catches the air pressure, and the air going over the wing is a little faster than the air going underneath, which creates lift. And so when you throw a paper airplane, it actually glides. Of course, it doesn't have a motor, so it's always going to come back down. But the principle is the angle of attack of the wings. So I'm going to throw it here, and hopefully you can see it go. Of course, it comes down. Other gliders have another angle of attack. You can see right here on this glider that the wings are tilted at an upward angle. So on this one, it's even got a little power cord, just a rubber band, which now came off. So I'm going to fix it quick. There we go. And this one can use a rubber band to really get some flight. Pretty cool. Then we can actually carve an angle of attack into a piece of wood. You can see this was a 1/4-inch piece of flat wood, and then I carved it so that the 2 opposite blades have an angle of attack. You can see that. When it's toward you, it's angled up, and so when I spin it this way really fast, it will actually spin and should fly. Of course, it comes back down. Try it one more time. There you go. Put that angle of attack in a circle like a helicopter wing. You can see the little angle of attack. And now I've got it on this, one of my favorite toys. Check this out. It went right out of the film screen about 12 feet over my head. So all of these things use an angle of attack. But birds and airplanes actually have something different. Notice the shape of the wing. It does have a slight angle of attack, but for greater flight and how jumbo jets get up out of the air, it's an airfoil design. So an airfoil is anything that's thicker at the front, thinner at the back, and has a slight curve over the top. That means as the bird flaps its wing, it's forcing air over the top of the wing, which moves faster than the air moving underneath the wing, because the air wants to get to the back of the wing at the same time. So the air moving over the curve has to move faster, which lowers the pressure, creating higher pressure underneath and lifting the wing up. So when a bird flaps its wings, it gets lift because it's moving its wing through the air and it's shaped like an airfoil. That's also how a jet, that you just heard flying over, moving through the air, has a wing the same shape. Okay, so powered flight like jets, airplanes, bats, birds have muscles or an engine to actually move them through the air, keeping the lift going for a longer extended period of time. Everything else, like a flying squirrel, can only glide and will come back down to earth. So every bird wing, from this big wild turkey to this great horned owl, notice has a similar shape. It's that shape of the airfoil design. The curvature, thicker at the front, thinner at the back. And of course, owls can fly silently because of these super soft edges that they have that blend the air together without making a flapping noise. So most of the toys you play with are gliders. And a long time ago, people actually figured out that you could make some cool flying things for hunting. So have you ever heard of a boomerang? Of course you have. In Australia, they built a boomerang that looks like this. They would carve it. This is made of plastic. They used to be made of wood. You can still find wooden ones, but the Aborigine people would use these for hunting. So the way it works is it's got a bit of an angle of attack and a bit of the airfoil design built into it. So if you hold it like this and you throw it like this, you can actually make it go up and it will come back. Imagine thousands of years ago, people on the edge of a marsh. When the ducks fly, if they see people, they fly really high. So one person would be hiding in the weeds. As the ducks get up, one very strong person takes a big boomerang, larger than this, and throws it as hard as they can up in the air. It went so high that the spinning motion replicates the wings of a bird of prey, and the ducks fly lower, coming so low over the people hiding in the grass at the edge of the marsh that all the women and children can then throw nets up into the air and net the ducks, club them in the head, and there you've got dinner. So that's what these were built for. Plus then it would come back and you can get ready and hide and wait for the next flock of ducks. So I'm going to attempt to show you how this works. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but to throw one of these, you have to use a snap of the wrist and your arm. You get it to spin so that it goes out and it will kind of come back. So let's give it a try. And it came back, not right back to me, but within 20 or 30 feet. Try that one more time. Different boomerang. Almost landed in the exact same spot. Now in Africa, the Africans made a boomerang that looks sort of like a double of the Australian type. So you can see the Australian, like that, the African was a square. And same concept, all we've done is we've rounded the edges on one side. This is just made out of a yardstick. Cut it in half, glue it together and staple it in the middle, then just round the edges so that it's got a little bit of an airfoil design to it, and then throw it in the same manner. These are really super fun. Here it comes. Oh, it went back away. Sometimes they come right back to you. Sometimes they go away. Again. Oh, got it in the tree. Happens all the time. So you're probably more familiar with the modern day Frisbee. Rachel, would you mind? Frisbee works in the same principle. Again, it's got an angle of attack with a little bit of an airfoil design. And when you hold it and you snap your wrist, getting it to spin, using your arm to throw it, you can make these go a long way.
Ready. All right. Ready, Scott?
Yep.
No,
Perfect.
less than ready.
All right. Try it one more time. My throw is not good.
Good throw. Perfect. Nice.
Super fun.
Woo!
So frisbees, boomerangs, all work on the airfoil and angle of attack. They're all gliders that we can play with and have fun using air pressure. And the last type of flight is rockets. Now, we're not going to use real rocket fuel today. We're going to use a water rocket, but the idea is the same. In a real rocket, it's got fuel that burns, creating pressure inside of a rocket, and it has to come out a very small nose cone. So all the pressure is forced through a very small opening, creating thrust that just blows the rocket up into the sky. So today we're going to use a 2-liter pop bottle.
I heard that there. Wait, Scott, did you just say rocket?
I did say rocket. Rabbit, what are you doing out here?
I heard you say rocket. I heard some boomerangs and things.
Yes,
Bob was talking to me earlier.
we're learning about flight today, and I'm on the last type. We already experimented with gliders and lighter than air, and now we're going to try to do a rocket, a water rocket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little water into this, and it's not going to burn or be fuel. What it's going to be is reaction mass. I need something for air pressure. Air pressure, that's what makes things fly. Some air pressure to push against to come out the bottom of the rocket, and if I didn't, all the air would just come flying out and it wouldn't go anywhere. But if I put some reaction mass into it, it's going to push against the water, forcing the thrust to force the rocket up into the air, the bottle into the air.
Can I help?
You can help.
What can I do?
Would you like to pull the trigger?
I would love to pull the trigger.
Are you a hair trigger?
I can be.
Okay.
My cousin Larry, he likes to jump out and scare me at times, so I tend to jump real quick.
All right, so I've got about 1/3 of a bottle of water. Now what I'm going to do is put it on our launch pad.
Is the trigger this rope down here?
The trigger is the rope. Yep.
All right.
Don't pull it yet.
Don't pull the rope.
I got to get it. I got to get this on here.
That looks real wet.
It's a little bit wet, and I'm going to clamp it on. And now I'm going to put air pressure by pumping on this tire pump.
Whoa, that was a lot of bubbles.
You're going to see some bubbles. That's air pressure going up in there. And when I get the pressure so powerful, so many pounds of pressure that it comes squirting out the bottom,
I see that.
I'll tell you 3, 2,
All right.
1, and you're going to pull the
Now?
rope.
Ah! That went places there, Scott. I wasn't ready for that.
That went
Where did it
over
go?
your head and way over there.
That was real fast.
That went up about 30 or 40 feet.
That's a lot of feet.
Now, to make it go even better, because that was just a bottle, and we know that rockets don't really look like bottles. Rockets have nose cones, and they have fins so that they fly straighter. We're going to try that same thing with a weighted nose cone.
My cousin Terry down in Florida.
Yeah.
He talks to me all the time about how he sees rockets going out. They
Oh,
always
yeah.
look like that. There's a nice little shape like that.
He must live by the Kennedy Space Center or Cape Canaveral, where they launch rockets all the time.
I don't know exactly where in Florida. We don't talk much.
That's where NASA does all their rocket launching.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, because the weather's really good down there, and they can
He
shoot
brags
off
about it
rockets.
at family reunions.
So, same thing. Are you ready, Rabbit?
I'm ready. All right, I have the
I'm
rope.
going to put this on there. I got to get it locked in on the launch pad. This time I'll say 3, 2, 1, and then you can pull it, all right?
That would be very helpful.
All right, that'll be helpful. Got to get about 30 to 40 pounds pressure. 3, 2, 1, launch!
Oh, I thought it was going to get stuck in the tree there.
Woo!
That went real high.
That went really high. So, that's water rocketry.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
You want me to go
Thanks.
get it?
Thanks, Rabbit. Yeah, you want to go
Thanks
get
for
that,
letting me
Rabbit?
pull the trigger.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll go get your rocket.
So that's the science of flight. Who knew that air pressure was so powerful? It lets everything fly, from little insects to great big jumbo jets. So look around your yard and house or the park that you go to and see what kinds of things you see flying. And whatever you do, have fun and be safe.